guys, it's time to work on the cop car a little more. We got an exhaust to finish. First of all, I got to get up in the attic and get some exhaust pieces down. Then we'll see where we're going to go from there. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. This is going to be crazy. Well, look at this. Trying out my new wheel cribs, DIY wheel cribs. Just search for that on YouTube. Make you some of those and enjoy life. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get the car up on them because they're so tall and it makes the car so tall. A regular floor jack really won't cut it. You got to get some blocks or something and kind of extend the reach of the jack a little bit. You got to jack it up a little bit, put it on jack stands, and then you got to jack it up a little bit more just to get them up on those wheel cribs. But excellent idea. Way sturdier than jack stands. The jack stands are no longer in my freaking way. And if you don't have to do suspension work, if you're doing everything else besides suspension work, this is the way to go. So I've got that one right there. It's ready. That tailpipe is actually ready to go on. This is what I got right now. So got that tailpipe, and you can see how nice and tucked that one is, how not nice and tucked this one is. So this one I built off the same exact dimensions as that side, and obviously I am no pro here, so there's little discrepancy in dimensions, even though they were exactly the same on the table. Once I got them mounted, I'm sure that the V-bands back there have a lot to do with it, because the pipe that comes out of the back of the muffler, I'm sure, is not completely 100% square, which is kind of throwing off these. Now, they do flex a little bit, so I mean, you know, I could probably get it to where it needs to be, but I got to run some errands, and then I'll be back later this evening, and then I'll probably throw on the tailpipes and see where it goes from there.
And his name is John C.
All right, let me kind of show you exactly how I'm going to mount these right here under the vehicle. I needed these to be a little adjustable. so that when I slip them over the pipes that are under the car, that I can move them in and out, then kind of set the distance that they need to be, because obviously my welds and my cuts are not perfect, because Mr. Chop Saw right there does not give me the most perfect cuts. So I know that none of these kind of cuts, these two cuts were cut with the chop saw, and I can tell you that they're not 100% square. That's the reason why, if you look under the car right now, that's the reason why these pipes are the way they are right now, where these two are kind of off a little bit, and that side over there is a little bit different. I fit those over there while they were on the car. These over here, I put together based on what I came up with on that side. I duplicated it on this side, but because of the pipes coming out of the muffler and the V-bands are just slightly off or slightly different than the driver's side, by the time I get back here to this point over the axle, bunch of curves, bunch of custom work, by the time I get to point B, it is what it is, right? So the good thing is it is, it's a little flexible. So I'll just have to see how that works out. But the problem is that is pretty big gap right there, and it's got to be probably an inch smaller than that. And I think if I bring it together an inch, it's probably going to put too much stress on the gusset that I made this right here, because this is only welded right here on the top side, and it's not welded on the bottom. And it is a good 1/8 of an inch steel, but I don't think that it's enough to keep completely square front to back. So what's going to happen is those pipes are going to go in, and then they're going to push these apart. And as they push this side apart, it's going to push this section in. And that means that these two pipes right here are going to wind up rubbing each other, and I don't want that. So let me show you. This is on the passenger side right here. This is the passenger side muffler. These are the tailpipe pieces coming out with a V-band, 90 going up, and then this side's a little bit longer. See how this one passes in front of the Watts bar link right here, okay, which is different from the driver's side. The driver's side, you got the muffler, and then you got the pieces coming out to the V-band, and then at 90s, but see, it goes behind the Watts link right here. So that Watts link and that Watts link, if you look, are in two different locations. See, this one's here where the tailpipes go up behind it, okay? Between the axle and the Watts link bar, that's where that pipe goes up. On the passenger side, they go in front of the Watts link. So it's actually there. There's nothing. There's no room between the axle and the Watts link, you see? All right, let's see about putting this tailpipe on here and see what happens. Can't be too crazy, so I'm going to pull these little clamps out a little bit so that I've got a lip here to put them over this. Throw this back just a little bit because I need to see about where halfway is. Okay, I can see it now. It's about right there. So, oh. Actually, these could be however, it doesn't matter, but the way they are, it's so close to the fender over here, I'm not sure how well that's going to go. She's hanging. She's hanging there. It's pretty much aligned where she needs to be. That looks pretty freaking good right there. Pretty freaking good. Well, crap, I just ran into a huge problem. I guess because I have all these nice little holes all around the body right now, which are usually sealed up by the bumper and the nuts to hold the bumper on. I have sprung a leak. That's probably water from when I washed it this last time, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Dang it. So I got to get that crap cleaned out. That is a mess right there. So I guess I need to go ahead and get this carpet out and vacuum that water out, and then we can proceed with the wiring. So done this before, and I guess I got to do it again. Okay, got all the water out of the trunk. So that, my friends, is your negative and your positive. So it's almost like having battery terminals back here. So you got a negative and a positive ready to rock and roll for whatever you want. As far as accessories go back here in the trunk area. So like even if you had like a sound system or just whatever you want to add to the trunk, you could add it pretty easily, or at least the power at least is already here for you. I've cleaned this up before. There was a lot of wires coming out of this where they had ripped the electronics out that was in here. You can kind of see some where some screw holes were right there where something was in here, a couple of things. So there were some electronics in here at one time, and I cleaned all that up. I taped all the wires up, made them nice and pretty again, and so now we can wire up our exhaust. We can wire our exhaust up back here, and this only needs a power source. Is this technically an active exhaust? No, it's not. It's not going to be nowhere near like the Mustang. It's not going to go open the valves on wide open throttle and all that crap. It's either going to be open or closed. It's just a set of cutouts. That's all this is. It's going to be on or off. That's it. So that's our power source right there that we want to use. So we're going to use that. But let's go look at the outfitter's manual for the Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. But let's go look at that manual real quick so we can at least figure out what fuse we need.
Hi.
All right, we're up here in the front fuse panel where we can actually pop in a couple of fuses, and 115 and 118. Sorry about the quality on here. I had to swap over to my iPad, but it's like crazy zoomed in for some reason. But so 115, that's 118, I think, right there. That's 115 right there. So those two fuse locations right there is where I got to find two fuses. So I'm gonna go get my stash of fuses and so I can find like a couple of 15s and pop them in there real quick. So I don't think I could do a 15, but I could do two 20s. Let's see what happens. Put that one in. Put this one in. Okay, should be hot. Hit the remote. Let's see if this baby works. Sounds like they work. Yeah, they're working. Sweet. All right, everything looks great. Sweet. Sounds good. Very minimal exhaust leaks. I think my normal exhaust leak on my manifold is still present, but the other one sounds okay. turned back around, so let's try it again. See if it sounds, see if it's got less leaks. That is 9-day difference between open and closed. That's crazy. Let me get this thing off of these wheel cribs and take it for a test spin real quick. That's what we need to do. Well, you just heard the cold start of the Crown Victoria with the quad exhaust from a 2019 Mustang GT active exhaust system. So that active exhaust system has valves in on the driver and the passenger side, and I have rigged up a makeshift cutout system from eBay, just a cheap system where I have taken and removed parts and pieces and mixed pieces back and forth, bought extra tubing and all that good stuff, and I've showed you all that. So this is the maiden voyage of this car with this new exhaust. So this should be pretty interesting. So far, I'm pretty amazed at how it sounds and how well it sounds. I got a couple little issues. So there's an exhaust leak still. I think it's in the manifold. I think it's a manifold gasket, which I think is pretty typical in these cars. There's another issue that I just ran across. That area, they kind of slant upward to get to the exit location where the bumper is going to be retrofitted so that the quad exhaust is highly visible. There's a slight incline right there. I don't know, do you drill a hole in the bottom of the exhaust to let it drip out at the low point? I'm not sure. I got to research that and figure that part out. I'm not exactly for sure. But without further ado, let's take a test rip. I'll keep my mouth shut. You guys can listen for yourself, get your own opinion of it. Just know I love it already. I don't care. I'm a loss for words at the fact that how much it pops factory. Like, this is an OEM car, like straight out of the box, okay? And this is just like, holy crap. Let's take a ride down the road. Let's see what this thing sounds like. This ought to be pretty interesting.